It's back to the well of viewer requests this week, and I apologise that it has taken me 6 months to actually get around to covering this film, but I was struggling to find a copy, but my god, am I glad that I did, because this is one of the most off-the-wall crazy post-apocalypses I have ever witnessed. It's She, which is a 1984 film written and directed by Avi Nesher, and loosely based on the 1887 H. Rider Haggard novel She, A History of Adventure. And by loosely, I assume that Avi just stole the title of the book, watched Mad Max, Conan the Barbarian and The Warriors, and then wrote the script. Let's cut to the chase here. There are going to be 2 reactions to this movie mainly. Good God, this is nonsensical garbage. And good God, this is nonsensical garbage and I love it. And both of those reactions are entirely with merit. To describe this as a throw shit at the kitchen sink and see what sticks kind of flick would be to underplay that statement. It has everything, and I mean everything, including a hairy giant who wears a tutu. I guess we should start with what I'm going to charitably call the plot, because as you're about to discover, literally nothing here makes sense. As our star and eponymous protagonist, She, played by Sandal Bergman, says,
"You're not making any sense."
Shanda, this has nothing to do with sense.
We start with an opening card suggesting the film takes place 23 years after the cancellation. What that was or is, the movie never bothers to explain. Wikipedia suggests it was a nuclear war. Let's just go with that, as it's as good an explanation as any. Then our co-protagonists, brothers Tom and Dick, along with their sister Harry, are attacked whilst attending a market by fancy-dressed Nazis called the Norks, who promptly kidnap Harry. This is, and again I'm being very charitable here, our inciting incident, as it gives the brothers an excuse to travel to Nork Valley to try and rescue her, which sets them out on their fantastical adventure. But before they get more than 3 minutes into that, they get kidnapped by a bunch of Glamazonians called the Urex, led by a goddess called She, whose followers, just do this. Now we have to have a scene that sets up how much of a kick-ass babe She is. So she enters a cave, and I shit you not, people pop out of packing crates. Like they've just been sitting in those packing crates waiting for her to arrive. Then Frankenstein pops out of one, and he's a robot. She did all of this so we could get what I imagine, knowing what I know about these kinds of B-movies, is the contractually obligated Sandal Bergman nude scene. Yay! It's extremely unsexy. Where she takes a bath in a pool that heals her wounds. The wounds she received fighting her way into the pool that heals wounds, because she didn't have a single wound on her before she entered that cave. Just don't think about it too hard, okay, because it's all down here, from here, in terms of logic and narrative cohesiveness. We also learn from an old woman who just sits in this cave seemingly waiting for She to fight her way in so she can heal her wounds she just got fighting her way in, that there is a prophecy that she will fall in love with a man. Again, this goes nowhere, so I don't even know why I'm bothering to mention it. The old hag also suggests She has done this many times, so does she herself set up the men in crates who then try and kill her, giving her wounds that she then heals in the healing pool that she wouldn't have if she didn't set up the men in crates to try and kill her in the first place? I'm probably overthinking this a little bit. All I'm gonna say is, it seems like such a convoluted system for healthcare, I'm amazed America hasn't adopted it. Of course, Tom and Dick escape the Urex, kidnap the goddess She, and run away. This is the rest of the plot, where they meet some ridiculous costume weirdos who also worship God like humans, get kidnapped, then even more implausibly escape from them in turn. First up are the bandaged mutants who place She, Tom and Dick in the compactor room from Star Wars, but way cheaper, and they are rescued by She's Glamazonian warriors and second-in-command Shanda, played by Quinn Kessler. She then releases Tom and Dick, so that they can once again set off on their quest to save Harry, then follows them along with Shanda, even though they just kidnapped her and tied her up all of 10 minutes ago. Of course, Tom and Dick instantly get suckered in by toga-wearing, orgy-loving party animals who throw them a party in their honour, then turn into werewolves or vampires. I'm not 100% sure on what they actually are. Good job she and Shanda show up just in time to save the day. They are then all promptly kidnapped once again by a sadomasochistic communist who has the powers of levitation, Godan. Godan's one weakness is the fact he wants to have a sexy time with she, and his second in command gets all bunny boiler on him and gives him an axe to the chest, allowing our heroes to escape straight into the clutches of a mad scientist who dresses like Mozart and keeps a pet hairy giant in a tutu. They escape by setting his lab on fire. Having been separated, all of our heroes make their way to Nork Valley, separately, where Tom encounters this guy, who talks entirely in movie quotes and reproduces when you chop his limbs off. Sometime later, she and Dick also encounter this same guy, and he's now down to being one guy from the 8 or so previously, which seems a bit of a continuity error. At this point, just whatever, let's roll with it. As luck would have it, the Norks are holding their monthly gladiatorial volunteer battle to the death to see which 2 volunteers can join them, which of course our 3 heroes join in disguise, defeat all the other combatants before unmasking themselves and inexplicably being allowed to leave with Harry by the Nork leader, who had been using Harry as a paramour. The reason being the Nork leader is now going to invade the Urex sector as punishment instead of just killing them. Now, I'm no military strategist, but wouldn't it be entirely advantageous to kill the leader of a place you're about to invade? Apparently not in this universe. Anyway, allows us to get our climactic battle sequence, which of course our heroes win, the ending being, for no apparent reason, Dick and Shanda falling in love, because seriously, they had no chemistry at all at any stage during the preceding 105-minute runtime. Tom leaves with his sister and she awkwardly kinda looking like she wants him to stay and bone her, which he also inexplicably doesn't do. Everything about this is bad. The plot, as outlined, is entirely nonsensical. The acting, if you can call it that, is uniformly amateur hour. The fight sequences are so shoddily slapped together it's laughable. Hell, even the soundtrack, which has some amazing 80s rock tunes, is entirely out of place in this movie. But I couldn't help but be entertained by the sheer batshittery on show. I have to hand it to Avi Nesher. He threw everything, then a little bit more into this film, and even though none of it really meshes or makes sense, you'll have an absolute hoot getting a group of friends round, slapping this on, then just laughing your ass off as the absolute madness unfolds. So that was She. An absolutely bonkers flick, which I am pretty sure they set up for a sequel, what with that whole love prophecy hanging there totally unresolved, and the baddie saying this.
We'll meet next time, goddess!
A sequel I sorely wish they had made, because I would love to see somebody attempt to top this for absolute madness. If you enjoyed that, then like, comment and subscribe, because next week it's Retribution.